Hello, bookworms, and welcome to the Book Up. I'm your host, Verdell Walker. Books are my passion, and my mission is simple: to help you find the books you'll love and dodge the ones you won't. Each week, I review a book in just 15 minutes. By the end, you'll know whether it belongs at the top of your TBR pile or is destined for a DNF. Think of me as your personal book matchmaker. So come on in, get cozy, and let me give you the Book Up. Before we get started, I want to shout out AM/FM88, who left me a review that I appreciated and also really made me laugh. They wrote, and I'm paraphrasing, "I like this podcast because it is short." And short is in all caps, y'all. I don't have the longest attention span. I also really like the Instagram because they offer a repository of what to read or skip. I suggest you check that out too. Thanks so much, AMFM. You get it, and I love that for us. I also appreciate the shout out for my Instagram. I do post quickie reviews there, which are short takes on books I don't want to devote a full episode to. So if you're not following me on Instagram, go do that. And if you want to be the next person I shout out on air, please go leave a review. So AM/FM gets us something I talk about a lot. Life is short, attention is precious, and we shouldn't spend either on books that don't deserve them. If there's one thing I want you to learn from me, bookworms, it's do not be ashamed to DNF a book. And on that note, I've got a novel today that I think deserved every minute of my time and yours too. When the Cranes Fly South by Lisa Ridzén is literary fiction, and it's published by Vintage. The print edition is 320 pages, and it's also available as an ebook and an audiobook. Here's the publisher summary. Beau is running out of time. Yet time is one of the few things he's got left. These days, his quiet existence is broken up only by daily visits from his home care team. Fortunately, he still has his beloved elk hound, Sixten, to keep him company. Though now his son, with whom Beau has had a rocky relationship, insists upon taking the dog away, claiming that Beau has grown too old to properly care for him. The threat of losing Sixten stirs up a whirlwind of emotion, leading Beau to take stock of his life, his relationships, and the imperfect way he's expressed his love over the years. Real quick, if you're enjoying the Book Up, I would love it if you took 2 minutes to leave me a rating and a review on Apple Podcast or Spotify. I'm on a mission to hit 50 reviews, and I'm not quite there yet. So every single one genuinely counts. Okay, back to the book. So sometimes you just need a good cry, something to hit you right in the feels. When the Cranes Fly South was that book for me. Just to keep it real, I picked up this book because it was on the shorter side. But I'm also more interested in reading about the elderly these days because I'm a caregiver to an elderly parent. And I found myself identifying with so many of the passages in this book. This is a profoundly moving debut novel that follows Beau's attempts to mend his relationship with his son Hans before it's too late. We also see Beau looking back over his life, his joys and his regrets, and his relationships. So before I dive in, let me zoom out a bit. This is the English translation of a Swedish novel. Lisa Ridzén is a doctoral student in sociology, and she researches masculinity norms in the rural communities of the far north of Sweden, where she herself was raised and still lives. And you can really see her professional and educational experience come through in this book. toxic masculinity and its negative generational impacts is a key theme of the novel. Lisa's idea for this novel came from discovering notes that her grandfather's care team had left the family as he neared the end of his life. And that personal touch really comes through so richly. So the book centers around a man named Bo, who, if I remember correctly, is pushing 90. He lives at home with his dog Sixten, and he has a rotating team of home health aides who help him bathe and dress. They fix his food, and occasionally they change his diaper because he's incontinent. His wife, Frederica, of many decades, has advanced dementia, and she doesn't even remember him. She lives in a care home. So Sixten, the dog, is Bo's primary source of emotional comfort on a day-to-day basis. So it's a really big deal when Hans, Bo's son, wants to take Sixten away because he thinks that Bo is not physically able to care for the dog anymore. And much of the book is Bo's struggle to prove Hans wrong. And the dogfight, as it were, is a symbol of the larger struggle that Bo is going through to retain what little power and agency he has left. The other big part of the book is Bo looking back over his life and his mistakes and his attempts to right things in the present. So, like I mentioned earlier, harmful masculine norms and the intergenerational trauma that they cause are a major theme of this novel. This is a book about fathers and sons in many ways. And Bo is the link between his dad, Lars Eric, and his son, Hans. So Bo's dad, Lars Eric, was a real asshole. Like, truly. He was physically and emotionally abusive to Bo and Bo's mom. Bo's recollection of his childhood are tough to read at times, but it's gratifying to see an adult Bo try to do better for his son and attempt to break that cycle. He himself admits that he wasn't always successful, and it's the source of the strife in the present day between him and Hans. There are times when Bo's anger really manifests, but he's better at emotional regulation than his own father ever was. And I think a big part of that is both Bo's determination to be a better man than his dad and the influence of Frederica, his wife. But don't get me wrong, Bo can still be emotionally stunted at times. There are moments in the book when we see Hans interact with his own daughter, Eleanor, who's Bo's granddaughter. Bo is so confused and uncomfortable when they kiss and hug each other and openly say, I love you. It weirds him out, even though he clearly loves Hans and dearly loves Eleanor, his grandgirl. But that's just the generational thing that I think a lot of us can relate to no matter what country we're from. Those boomers, man. One of the things that I love about this book is that while it is primarily told in Bo's point of view, we also get interstitials of notes from Bo's care team. And you can kind of chart Bo's physical and mental decline through the book through those notes. It's interesting in the later chapters to read Bo's POV, where he seems lucid and fine, but then you read the carer reports and you can see that he's not fine. He's either confused or forgetful. Sometimes he wets himself and doesn't know. It's heartbreaking, and let me tell you, it's true to life. I have dealt with similar things in my own caregiving duties, and these parts made me tear up. It's just the indignity of aging, particularly when the mind is still there, but the body fails. The accompanying anger at the loss of independence, that sense of helplessness, Bo never really accepts it in the book. And you read his observations and the resentment that boils up. At one point, he calls Hans and Eleanor compassionate but superior. I recognize all of what Bo goes through in my own parent, and I also see myself in Hans. I am quite sure that my parent would describe me the same way, although they would probably call me compassionate but an annoying know it all who wants to keep me from doing what I want. But it's really tough to watch your parents go through that. Even when you know and they know that the conditions and restrictions and modifications are for the best, it's still emotionally draining and so tough. If you haven't experienced it yet, just keep on living. Disability and decline aren't someone else's story. They're everyone's story eventually. And this book reminded me of that. If you're blessed enough to get old, it will come with decline. And when you watch your parents get old, you'll see that decline and deal with it too. It's hard. And it's in this juxtaposition that Risden's craft really shines through. When you read closely, you can see that Bo forgets stuff, that he becomes an unreliable narrator in a way. That's the power of the Kara reports and the conversations that they have with Hans. It's so well done. By the end of the novel, I was actively crying, and I'm not ashamed to say it. With everything I've gone through in my own caregiver journey, it was cathartic. And reading about Bo gave me more emotional insight into what my parent is going through. This is one of the many examples I have of fiction making me a better person. So take that, you weirdos who don't like fiction. So, in case you can't tell, I loved this book. My final rating for When the Cranes Fly South is 5 out of 5 stars. It is moving, powerful, heartbreaking, and beautifully told. It's also an unflinching look at aging, the indignities of aging, regret, grief, toxic masculinity, and trying to be better than the people who came before us. Aging, losing your independence, facing disability, and the people who love us imperfectly, that's not a niche story. That is all of us eventually. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of The Book Up. If you want to pick up today's book, check out the episode description for shoppable links. I'll earn a commission if you make a purchase, so your support helps keep the show going. And if you're enjoying The Book Up, please take a moment to leave a rating and a review. It makes a huge difference in helping other book lovers find the show, and I read every single one. Don't forget to follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. And come say hi over on Instagram at The Book Up Pod. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you next time on The Book Up.